tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be enjoying some ice cream cake. It's been so hot lately, like it's like burning outside. So yeah, I just thought it was perfect and I cannot wait to eat my ice cream cake. Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome back to my channel. So last week I shared some of my experiences throughout my internship the past year, and in this video I wanted to share an experience that I had during my actual program when I was taking classes and attending lab and lectures and stuff. So this is before my internship, so about two years, maybe 1.5 years ago. And the reason why I'm deciding to share it now is because I'm graduated, alhamdulillah, and I'm no longer associated with that university and with that program anymore, and the people there, like the teachers and instructors and stuff. So I feel a little bit more comfortable to share my experience now that I'm done. And I mentioned alhamdulillah during my internship that I didn't really come across any racism or discrimination from any patients or anyone like that, alhamdulillah, which is a really great thing. I did come up, like, people did ask me questions about like my hijab and stuff like that, but it was out of curiosity, not mockery or anything. Very nice experiences, alhamdulillah, both in the clinical setting and the hospital setting. So alhamdulillah for that. However, when I was in my program, I did have a racist, discriminatory kind of experience that really affected me, and I wanted to share because it was definitely a big deal. For those of you who don't know, I went to school to do ultrasound for the heart and also vascular, which consists of the veins and arteries of the arms, legs, and neck, and some abdominal snowman, okay, abdominal ultrasound. And a part of our program is labs where our classmates scan each other for practice, and this is how we learn how to like scan different patients and stuff. I had one male classmate in my year, and he was very sweet, he was very kind and stuff, very respectful. I didn't want anyone to scan above my knee, and I didn't want my male classmate to scan my heart at all. And because like for the lower extremity exams, you have to go in the groin area where the crease is, which is very high up there, and I did not feel comfortable enough to let anyone scan me in those kinds of areas that are private and stuff. And I just didn't feel like it was necessary because, number one, alhamdulillah, all my anatomy is normal, so no one is going to lack any kind of education from not scanning me. And I spoke with this to my male classmate, and he was very understanding and respectful. He said, yes, of course, I don't mind at all, that's no problem, I understand, blah blah blah. All my classmates were very supportive of me, and they said, of course, that's no issue. Before starting my program, I went to the director, I went to my instructors to tell them that I cannot wear these kinds of clothing in lab because of my religious beliefs. And they were very understanding. They're like, yeah, of course, that's okay. We've had Muslim students in the past, that won't be a big deal, we'll work around it. So I was like, okay, great, that's amazing. As time went on and we started doing the labs for echo and vascular, they started kind of going back on their word. 2 out of 3 of my professors were also very helpful and understanding, and they they accepted all my wishes, so alhamdulillah for that. It was just one professor who went to the program director to complain about me, basically, and that's where this whole meeting came up. 5 minutes into the conversation, when I was trying to explain my religious beliefs and why I chose not to participate in those kinds of exams, he cut me off, and he basically said that I was going against the contract or whatever of the whole program and being a student, and I am basically preventing the other students from learning and blah blah. It's like affecting their education and blah 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 blah, like all these different excuses. And then he starts going on and telling me, literally trying to teach me my own religion about Islam. Your religion says this, that you could do this for educational purposes. And I'm like, no, okay, that's not entirely accurate, because there are so many different varying opinions. Some people are more conservative than others. Some scholars have different views. There's like, this is a gray area. My family is more conservative. I don't feel comfortable. That should be good enough for you. Don't try to like teach me what my religion says because you're not Muslim. And he was like, okay, well, this university is a private university, we're not a religious university. Any point I was trying to make, he shut me down. He wasn't listening to me. I felt unheard. I felt very uncomfortable, and you know, it was like, as he was like saying all these things, I'm like, just because this isn't a religious institution, it doesn't mean that you don't follow the US Constitution, you know, like my right to my religion. Especially because I told you all my concerns before the program even started, before I was even a student, and you told me all these things. You gave me all these promises that you'll make accommodations, that you'll help me, that you'll be supportive of me, that you won't discriminate. But now you're going back on your word. And then he's like, I never made that promise. I never made that promise. And I was like, yes, you did. Multiple times, not just once. You made it during my interview. You made it during orientation. I lasted probably not even 10 minutes when I literally just started crying, because I honestly thought that he was going to kick me out of the program. And no matter what I was saying, they were just shutting me down. And I felt horrible. And he made a very inappropriate comment to me about myself. And it was, I can't say what it is because I don't feel comfortable sharing, but it was very inappropriate, and let's just say it was something I could definitely sue him for. It was that inappropriate, and you know, just, I felt so uncomfortable. I literally got up right away and I was like, I don't feel comfortable with any of you in this room right now. Like, I'm leaving, and you know, you'll just speak with my parents because I honestly don't know what to say anymore, blah blah blah. At that point, I was like crying my eyes out, and thank goodness for masks, because it was still kind of when COVID was, you know, still a thing. It was like right when things started to reopen and stuff. That it really, because I'm such an ugly crier, oh my gosh, I'm sure my face was all red and puffy. The point that I stood up and I was about to leave, they started all freaking out, and they're like, no, sit back down, we're sorry, and they started apologizing to me. It was a horrible apology, but still, they were desperate because they were genuinely afraid of what I do because of the things that were said to me. And in the end, basically, they ended up accepting whatever I said, which is fine, but it was so unnecessary because of all the humiliation that I had to go through to get to that point. But alhamdulillah, it all worked out in the end. For a while, I didn't want to even look at him after that. I didn't want to be a part of the program after that. I was seriously doubting whether or not I wanted to continue because of the experience that I had. But thankfully for my professors who were understanding, and thankfully to my classmates themselves who were so supportive, they really did help me, and they made me feel a lot better, and they made it worth it. So alhamdulillah for that. I definitely am really grateful for them that they had my back and stuff, and I didn't feel all alone. But when I was in that meeting with all the three of them, it definitely was very difficult for me. I felt very scared, and I felt very humiliated, and I don't think anyone should have to ever compromise or choose between their education and their religion, their personal values and beliefs, for something so silly. And what's extremely interesting was they didn't bother to, you know, challenge me in anything like that until after I paid all of my tuition. Like, as soon as they got my money, they baited me until then, and then once everything was, you know, finalized and, you know, you don't have any refund or anything like that, then they dropped the bomb on me saying that, oh, by the way, this isn't happening, you know. And I literally told them that. I said, I feel like you baited me. I feel like, you know, you trapped me, because now, even if I didn't want to continue the program, I lost all this money. But in the end, they did realize that what was said to me was very wrong. And you know, alhamdulillah, I'm glad that I stayed in the program, because I proved them wrong in a way that I literally became #1 in class. Alhamdulillah, I became valedictorian. I was the first in my class to become certified in both vascular and echo. So alhamdulillah, I made so many wonderful accomplishments, and I definitely proved them wrong, that I was an amazing student, and I made them look really good. So you're welcome. Alhamdulillah, you know, there's always a positive that comes out. At the end of the day, alhamdulillah, everything worked out. And I know I said that I felt all alone in that moment, but I wasn't alone. That Allah was always there with me every step of the way. And He made sure that, you know, everything happened the way it was supposed to go. Even though I felt kind of hopeless and I started crying and everything like that, Allah still gave me enough strength to be able to say everything that I needed to say in order for them to realize that they were wrong. And alhamdulillah, I didn't have to go to higher authority or anything like that. But if you do, or you're in a situation that you should, do it. You know, don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do. Don't let anyone make you feel like you have to compromise your values, your morals, your identity, you know, especially because it's your right, it's your identity, it's, you know, your freedom, and no one should tell you otherwise. Of course, like, it was a horrible experience, but looking back, I'm glad that I went through that and it was worth it, especially if it means that people or students who come after me don't have to, you know, experience anything like that, because I did it for them, I guess. And alhamdulillah that, you know, I was able to make any kind of positive change in the program. And sure, it was unnecessary and it was kind of sad and unfortunate, but like I said, alhamdulillah, like I'm glad that Allah gave me the opportunity to be able to, you know, help other students in the future, inshallah, and make the program better. If you do find yourself in this kind of situation, you know, keep making dua to Allah the Almighty to give you the strength, the courage, and the patience to be able to get through whatever you're going through, because at the end of the day, He's the only one who's going to help or can help, you know. So alhamdulillah, get the support of good people, of a higher authority on your side, and inshallah do your best and fight for yourself, fight for Allah, and fight for you know, your freedom. And you know, because this is something that should not be taken lightly. So anyways, jazakallah khair for listening. That's all I have for you today, and inshallah I'll see you very soon. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. 22. Look, it's a double peace sign.